Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. Everybody's Ramadan is going well. I can't believe that we are more than halfway through. Anyways, I thought for, this week's video that instead of doing a vlog, we could do a little sit down chit chat about something that's probably on a lot of people's minds and talk about my hijab story. This isn't really something that I think I've spoken about, but I really wanted to make this video to help other girls out there who may be on their hijab journey, thinking about wearing hijab, or for even the girls who already wear it and just kind of want a reminder, something to relate to. Make sure you don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like this video if you are into it and all the Ramadan content, so I know to keep making videos. So I wrote down a bunch of different points on my phone, so if you see me looking at my phone, that's why. I guess kind of where I want to start with this is my childhood and my family background. I am Desi, Pakistani and Indian. Grew up in a Muslim household and everything. I guess when it comes to hijab, I've noticed that for Desis in the Desi community, not everyone wears it, but then not everyone doesn't wear it. You kind of have half and half wearing hijab. And personally, for me and my family, not a ton of people wore hijab. Like 2 of my aunts wore it. I had a lot of community members of my mom's friends who wore it, so that was kind of my physical exposure to hijab. I also went to a school in a pretty white suburb, so barely any hijabis there. I always had familiarity with hijab and I always knew that it was kind of an aspirational thing in Islam to kind of always work towards. But yeah, again, back to the whole Desi identity, I do feel like for us, it's not as much of a priority. Even though I want to be careful with my words there, but I just feel like, there's other ways that I had seen for you to be a good Muslim essentially, still doing all of your prayers, eating halal food, just being a good person, not backbiting, all that stuff is, equally as important as the physical outwards appearance. So that's kind of how I grew up viewing hijab and my exposure to it. Also knew that for me personally, it was always a possibility that I was going to wear hijab, but it was never a pressure that I put on myself that by a certain age or by puberty that I have to wear it. I just always knew that it'll be my choice, it'll be something that feels right, and no one's going to pressure me to wear it. Growing up in a post 9/11 society, I was 1 year old when 9/11 happened, and so it's not like I was in school during the time when it was super fresh and everything, but I grew up with that in the back of my mind that Islamophobia is a real thing and wearing your identity outwards is something to just consider, I guess. And similar with what I just said, the statement hijab is a choice has always stuck with me throughout my life, and I'm really grateful for my experience growing up that I never had any family pressure to wear hijab, no society pressure, no anything. But at the same time, I do have some different views around hijab, which maybe I'll get into later. And when I entered high school, Islamophobia definitely was on the rise my junior year in 2016 with the presidential elections and just kind of things going on in the world, different events. So I started to definitely become more aware of my Muslim identity, and I was wanting to show that I was Muslim and just wear it more proudly, almost in an educational way that hey, look, Muslims are normal, cool people too. We're not what you're seeing on the news. Since I went to this predominantly white high school, I wanted to be seen as kind of that Muslim token girl who was an essential contribution to American society. One of my first more close to home exposures to hijab is when my older sister put it on. She was in college, I was in high school still. Again, this was around that whole 2016-ish era. She put it on and it was definitely it was almost seen as a political move, I feel to just kind of wear it so proudly and spread the message of Islam. And so I feel since I'm super close with my family and specifically my older sister, that was one of those first times where the possibility of wearing hijab definitely became more of a reality or a real thing that I could see myself doing. Fast forward a few years, about 2 years before I actually put on hijab. This was my sophomore year of college, and by this point I had made more diverse Muslim friends than I ever had before. Just going to Ohio State, I got exposed to so many more different types of people, and with me being exposed to these different Muslim cultures, definitely more Arab, Somali, Sudanese, I feel they wear hijab more. It's more common in their ethnic identities. So this was definitely an exposure to me that I hadn't had before. It also kind of made me realize that being a hijabi or wearing hijab didn't mean that you were this kind of unattainable level of like piousness. Because I do feel like, you know, growing up, if you're a hijabi, like you're the perfect Muslim, you pray all the time, you have the Quran memorized, you're just like the best of the best. Not that my friends weren't the best of the best, but it was just I saw myself being very like similar to them. It was just kind of this like sense of relatability that I had, and it was a good exposure for me overall. And again, during this time, I am not sure what exactly sparked it, but I started to have more interest in the hijab than I ever had before. I would practice different styles in my bedroom with like these random old hijabs that I found at my house. Really feel kind of good about myself in it, to be honest. Like, okay, this feels kind of cute. I look nice. Like, I could see this maybe being a thing, because realistically, when you wear hijab, you sometimes feel like you're letting go of that physical beauty side of yourself. But when I wore the hijab, it's not like I felt kind of like this ugly rat, essentially. I mean, the purpose of hijab is to conceal your beauty and have people get to know you on the inside and for who you are as a person. But I also feel like it's okay to feel nice and feel pretty in hijab and feel beautiful, because I feel like that's the way that this will be the most long-lasting, sustainable thing. But again, however, at this time, something was just holding me back from fully committing. Maybe it was that like I thought at the time I didn't have enough Islamic knowledge, or I wasn't practicing religion enough, or that just simply I didn't feel like it was my time to retire my hair. And I just want to be like very transparent in this video. This is my journey, so being honest here. And then, you know, one thing that I want to emphasize is that there is no right time, in my opinion, there's no right time for a woman to put on hijab. We're all so different, all going through different things in life. I just feel like when you decide to put on hijab, you should just feel very drawn to it, and you should be very sure before committing to this lifelong decision. I just think it's most ideal to put it on and keep it on rather than to take it off, because again, I feel like when you take it off, then you kind of get that taste of the ease of life and getting to wear just more easygoing clothes like short sleeve t-shirts, leggings, not having to worry about putting your hair up. And let's be real, like not wearing hijab is the easier choice, and I think that's the reason why we wear it, because like it's a very conscious effort that we're putting in, because this is what Allah or God has prescribed for us. So anyways, let's reel it back in. Like, I do know that the kind of Islamically right way, or like the encouraged way for a girl to put on hijab, if you were to ask like when should a woman wear hijab, is when they go through puberty. I don't know, I feel like there's some things to consider with this as well, such as your family and community support, having full knowledge of what hijab means. I do feel like sometimes I've seen stories of girls who, you know, as soon as they turned 11 or 12, they put it on. Like being a little bit naive, not knowing what life and society is going to throw at them. That's no reason to not wear it, but I think just making an informed decision is the best decision. But again, that's just my opinion. I think everyone is on their own unique journey when it comes to when they decide to wear it. We're gonna fast forward again 2 years to my senior year of college. Again, this feeling started to creep back in of just really being drawn to hijab, really wanting to try it out. This time, it was even stronger than before. This was actually right after I got engaged to Saleh. So subhanAllah how the timing works out. No part of Saleh, my husband, or his family, my family, community, like no part of that had any impact on my decision. Like no one ever even mentioned it to me. It just literally, I feel like it was born in my heart, and then it just came to be. Alhamdulillah for everything. And so I started to practice hijab, and I would wear it out, but wear it to places where I knew I wouldn't really run into people. And I ordered so many chiffon hijab, 50 shades of chiffon beiges. I feel like that's what was trending at the time. And it just was never comfortable. To this day, I really don't care for chiffon, but I still have like at least 20 hijabs in my closet that are chiffon. But anyways, that's besides the point. Right before the new year, so this was in 2021, I decided to fully commit to wearing hijab. And I felt like this was a nice marker in time for me, because like the new year, but more so like I had that winter break to like, you know, fully transition, and then I was starting a new semester, so it wasn't like I was just gonna walk into like my same class with like this completely new look and have to deal with that awkwardness, even though there's literally nothing wrong with that. But just for me, it felt like less pressure to do it this way. The period of time, like 1 to 2 years after putting on the hijab, was really just me figuring out like what styles work for me, what materials work for me. Also giving myself time to transition my wardrobe into a hijabi friendly wardrobe. I just feel like there's this huge pressure now that you have to like throw away all your old immodest clothing and order a bunch of new maxi dresses and abayas and matching sets, spend an arm and a leg, and I just don't think that's necessary, bro. I think also if you're working towards wearing hijab, like you should first maybe work on what you wear, like slowly wearing tank tops to short sleeves to quarter sleeves to long sleeves. Another thing I wanted to mention, which is contrary to a lot of people's decision-making process, is that I actually wanted to wear hijab before I had my wedding. I know a lot of people like want their hair out at their wedding and stuff, but for me, since I knew that my events were going to be mixed, I wanted to wear hijab, and then also that would give me the freedom to share photos and videos with whomever I want for the rest of my life. It's as simple as that. And now it's 2025. I've been a hijabi for, oh my gosh, yo, has it been 3 or 4 years? If I started in 2022 and it's 2025, it's been 3 years. I'm sure a lot of people wonder, like, do you regret your decision? Are you happy? Do you feel like you're stuck? And the honest to God answer is I'm so happy with my decision. I have never once looked back. And do I look better with my hair out? Yes. The obvious answer is yes. That's the point. I'm here to just please Allah. And at the end of this, like the root conclusion is that this is something that pleases Allah. I do believe that wearing hijab is an obligation in Islam. I do think like every person should be working towards it. Again, like this is such a wide spectrum, and I think that you should only wear it when you are ready and when you feel drawn to it and your heart feels like it's in it. When I say it's an obligation, I feel like it's important to distinguish like obligation from being forced. For me, an obligation is, okay, I am obligated to drive on the right side of the road and not the left side. Do I have free will to drive on the left side? Yes, but there are consequences with that, and it's better for me and everyone that I drive on the right side of the road. And I know that's a really dramatic example, but just shift your mindset. Yeah, that's kind of my overall thoughts on it. My journey is not over yet. Like, I'm still on my journey, and I never think it's right to push down other women. I think we should all be really supportive of each other, but also not encourage false narratives or false truths when it comes to Islam. We need to be very careful about that. Sorry if this video was quite long. I just really wanted to be thorough and give you guys all the tea. It's not even tea. I just wanted to give you guys the rundown on hijab and what it means to me and how I got here. I would really love to hear your guys' story in the comments down below, and if you have any questions for me, and if you want more videos like this. I really enjoyed just having a really honest and transparent conversation. Hope you guys have a great weekend, and inshallah I will see you in next week's video.